What's going on, YouTube? It's your main man, the Badwolf. All right, the man in black. Well, I guess not really today, more of the white wolf. So what do we got to talk about today? We're going to be talking about the difference between the word person and person. Okay, so this isn't going to be a long video at all, but it's going to be jam-packed with just what you need to get you through. So understand this. The federal government has an official definition of the word person. We're going to look at that on Cornell Law EDU. Hi, Cornell Law EDU. I know you guys like to watch my videos, which meaning the people who actually, read for them and write for them and whatever else. So kind of interesting. We're going to take a look on there and we're going to see what their definition of it is. So let's share a screen and go there right away. Let's just do it. Let's just do it, huh? Hey, Leo, let's just do it. Let's do it, guy. All right, so Cornell Law School, legal information, 1 U.S.C. 8, person, human being. Now, we know what Black Law's Dictionary says for person and for human being. Okay, here they're also using the word child, the word individual, as including born alive infant. Okay, we know what infant means in child support areas. So now let's go through and read what they have to say. Lovely assistant, take it away.
A. Indeterminate.
Oh, I'm supposed to read the whole thing. Let's go.
A. In determining the meaning of any act of Congress, or of any ruling, regulation, or interpretation of the various administrative bureaus and agencies of the United States, the words person, human being, child, and individual shall include every infant member of the species Homo sapiens who is born alive at any stage of development.
Now, here's the problem. The states, though they are their own government, they are still under the United States. But what are the states doing? The states have redefined the term person. This is the problem we've been having. Yeah, hold on. Stop sharing screen. Got to freak out for a moment. My hair back. Yeah. This, my friends, is where the problems come in at. We've been fighting the government, if you will, in a non-belligerent, non-combatant way, treated the United States from your favorite non-belligerent. And the states, the state ofs, thinking that they are the same entity under the same jurisdiction, and they are not. The federal government operates under the Constitution for the United States of America, our actual freedoms, rights, and liberties. And the states, not so much. They are, in fact, also still yet considered foreign, and they are for profits. Their definition of the word person is different. Black Law's Dictionary, the court cases, the court's definition using Black Law's Dictionary of the word person, infant, parents are all different. This is why we've been having the problem. The government recognizes that a person who we thought we understood what a person meant, means a living person, living, breathing. Infants, raised, muscles, breathing, possessing a soul, alive, private, nature, natural, savage. But not the states, not the courts. They have different definitions. Let's get back to it. Sorry for freaking out. It happens every once in a while. I gotta let it out. Let's get back to it.
Development. B. As used in this section, the term born alive, with respect to a member of the species Homo sapiens, means the complete expulsion or extraction from his or her mother of that member, at any stage of development, who after such expulsion or extraction breathes or has a beating heart, pulsation of the umbilical cord, or definite movement of voluntary muscles, regardless of whether the umbilical cord has been cut, and regardless of whether the expulsion or extraction occurs as a result of natural or induced labor, caesarean section, or induced abortion. C. Nothing in this section shall be construed to affirm, deny, expand, or contract any legal status or legal right applicable to any member of the species Homo sapiens at any point prior to being born alive as defined in this section.
So they are telling you that there is a difference here between the term person and a legal status, or essentially a legal person that then might have a legal right. Here is the missing pieces, guys. This is it. Okay. A legal person.
Legal person.
I just said that. An individual, company, or other entity. So even though here you might go, oh, well, look, Wolf, they use individual. On Cornell law, they said individual means a living person too. Oh, but to the contrary, mon frere, check it out. An individual, company, or other entity. So they're saying that all of these in here refer to these being entities, not a natural living person. Entity can mean a being or a thing, but in this case, that's what it means. Some kind of state of being, an entity, an it, a thing, a state. Your all caps name is a legal person, which has legal rights and is subject to obligations. This is why when you send certain things to the government, they're like, what are you talking about? Are you special needs? What's going on? No, here, let's mix the waters. Let's see how they try to mix the waters here. Okay, before we go to legal person with Cornell law, Merriam-Webster is right here. So a legal person is what? It can be a body of persons. So what are they really saying? They're saying that a number of living people together can form to be a legal person or an entity as a corporation. So they're not saying you, the living person, by yourself are the legal person. They're saying a body, but if persons can be a legal person, then that means one person can be. But see, it's not that you are, it's you're representing. You are representing. So let's see how they do it up here in Cornell law, because you know they got their things going on here. A legal person is a human. What? So here they're trying to mix it right here. So let's see if we can find a subterfuge. A legal person is a human or non-human legal entity. That is treated as a person for legal purposes. So let's see what they have definition of purpose. So here, the subterfuge is this. A legal person, meaning an entity that has been created, is a human or non-human entity. So let's see what they say about entity here, because they're saying a legal person is a human or non-human legal entity. So either way, they're still saying that it's still a legal entity. You're either a human legal entity or you're a non-human legal entity. So let's see what entity means. An entity refers to a person or organization. So once again, they're double talking. You need to hyperlink this. But we know that in the legal system that this is a legal person. So an entity is a legal person or an organization possessing separate and distinct legal rights. So distinct from what? Such as an individual, partnership, corporation. An entity, among other things, can own property, engage in business, enter into contracts, pay taxes, sue, or be sued. An entity is capable of operating legally and suing and making decisions through agents, meaning agents in this case would be the living person. So all this double talk that's set up here that makes it sound like this is you, it still comes down to here. And making decisions through an agent. A legal entity corresponds to the notion of a legal person that holds rights, and each entity has a legal status. I don't see anything in here where it said a living being. An individual meaning, okay, so here, individual by the government's definition, though, means a living person who is a citizen of the United States or an alien lawfully admitted for permanent residence. It does not include persons such as sole proprietors, partnerships, or corporations. So here they're saying the word individual. But here's my problem. It says has an entity refers to a person or organization possessing separate and distinct rights. That's where it stops. Because then it says such as. It doesn't say same as. It says such as. So you're saying an entity has these rights like a living individual, like a partnership, like a corporation. Doesn't say same as. It says such as. Similar to, but not the same. See how they do that? It's clever. Very clever. I mean, I'm not making it up. You're reading just right along with what I'm reading. And it's clever how they wrote this. A legal person is a human. You're like, oh, well, there you go. You're a legal person. No, no, no. Matter of fact, we don't even know what their definition of human is. Now you guys are starting to understand. A legal person is a human or a non-human legal entity. Now, literally and legally, they should have a comma right here. Because what is a human legal entity? And what is a non-human legal entity? They're not hyperlinked to show what they specifically mean here. That is treated as a person for legal purposes. So these types of entities, because that's what they are, either it's a human entity, or excuse me, a human legal entity, or a non-human legal entity. So let's look up, see if we can, let's break it down. Let's try to construe it their way, because I know what they want. So let's do it their way. So human. But see, here's the problem. You're saying a legal person is a human or a non-human. legal entity. A lot of us would just read it non-human legal entity. But see, why would they say a legal person is a human that's treated like a person? They're not saying that a legal person is a living being. So that's why I don't trust this. A human. So let's see what we can find. Oh. So a human.
Human.
A human relating to or characteristics of, so not the same, but characteristics of people or human beings. Now, see here where they put the word beings? It says relating to. So that means there's a relation, but it's not a direct correlation. So it's related to or relating to, has relations to characteristics of people or human beings. So these are clearly not, a human is not the same thing as a human being. Now let's see what it says here. A human being, especially a person, as distinguished from an animal. So a human being is different than a person because it's distinguished from an animal, or in science fiction, an alien. Well, we know aliens are not science fiction. So once again, we go back to Cornell Law EDU. And here they mention human being, not just a human being. So the state, the federal level, the government, who's on our side for the most part, breaks it down that these words mean that you are alive and you are private. But these same exact words are used differently. On the state level, they're just, when you deal with them, they're just saying a human. The government's interpretation of a person is all these things to be alive, but not in the courts. See, remember what I said earlier? Now look here. Because we're doing things legal. In the legal jurisdiction, the legal hemisphere, a legal person is a human. Doesn't say human being now, does it? Why? Because they are assuming that when you understand that you're doing legal things, whether you know it or not, whether you have the mind or the capacity to understand the information is on you. You didn't challenge each and every word. You didn't ask what jurisdiction. You start seeing the word legal or words with all capitalized letters or upper and lower, especially, you're in the commerce, you're in the public, you're in the legal jurisdiction, the legal realm. So amongst themselves, they don't have to say I'm a legal person. That'd be like me hanging out with other, and I hate to use the word, but black people like this, but I'm hanging out with the other blacks. Hello, my fellow black Steve. Hello, my fellow black Bob. No, you don't do that because it's already assumed you're one of us. You're wearing the mask, the persona of a person, characteristics of a real person, but you're not. This is my legal name. So a legal person is a human, but it doesn't say human being, because a human being is alive. So when you're reading your paperwork and it says this person, what kind of person? Well, aren't you a human? What kind of human? That, my friends, is understanding that there is a distinct difference between a lot of these words in the public and in the private, in the legal and the lawful, in the federal government, in the states and lower courts. What is your definition of a human being, of a human, of a person, a legal person, a name, a legal name, a given name? Because when you go into the legal jurisdiction, all of these things change. And you've waived your rights under the Constitution for the United States of America. Long live America. God bless America. America, my country. Patriot. And anybody who's against that, anybody against me and against this information, well, you're a traitor to my United States of America. And the powers that be will take care of all threats, foreign and domestic. So help them God. That being said, guys, remember to not be a belligerent combatant, but make the proper moves. Now you understand the inside level of breaking down the information. It's not just reading it. You don't sometimes understand or overstand what you're reading. You're so quick to tell people, oh, I'm not an idiot. I'm not an idiota. Black Law's Dictionary says if you're one of those things, you are not fit to stand trial. You're private. You're not a public officer. So don't forget